Coming up on Nittany Game Week.
We do a great job of being very diverse in our openers.
3 of the first 4 plays go to the new wide receivers, why getting them involved early against Nevada can lead to success against future opponents. While the offense plays a clean game, the defense forces 3 turnovers, 2 by Dennis Sutton. What he's doing at practice that translates to a better game day performance.
Trying to get a little bit of reaction out of him. I think his heartbeat went like...
And the reason behind a pregame bear hug to hype up the new defensive coordinator, who could smell victory before the game even begins. This is Nittany Game Week. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nittany Game Week. I'm Todd Sadowski, alongside former Nittany Lions coaches Jay Paterno and Tom Bradley. No surprise to see PSU cruise past Nevada. They win by 5 touchdowns, probably a little less than expected. The returning guys get plenty of work. A bunch of new players see valuable action. Your thoughts on the opener, fellas?
Well, you got in, you scored every possession you had with the first team. You got a big lead and got done with it. And that, what else do you want? And it's a beautiful day. Kids had fun. Families had fun. Everybody wins.
Tom had fun?
Hey, I had fun, but the other good thing is I don't think there was any injuries or anything you had to deal with on that.
Yeah, you want to get out of there clean for sure. We'll show how the offense involves some new weapons early in the game plan. The defense creates chaos with some first quarter turnovers, and the special teams make a huge impact in our opening drive. Now, PSU brings in 3 transfers to boost the wide receiver core, and they make sure to get them the ball early and often. 3 of the first 4 plays, Jay, go to Kyron Hudson and Trevor Pena.
It was almost like they've been hearing about the Notre Dame game and no completions of the wideouts all summer long, and they probably have. You got new guys in, get them in the flow, get them going, get things going early, and they did. It was effective for them.
Tom, when you show a defense the wideouts are going to be a factor in the game, what does that do to an opponent? How does that open up the field?
Big time. And one of the great things, the people that love the wideouts the most, believe it or not, are the running backs. Because they now know, hey, this box is going to get a little bit loose in here, create easier holes for us. Offensive line likes it. That 8th guy, he's not hanging around at all.
Yeah, 6 catches for Hudson, 7 for Pena. Just 1 for Devontae Ross, but he can be a difference maker too. Their talents are on display against Nevada right away.
We do a great job of being very diverse in our openers. Coach K, cooks it up for us and has the whole O staff and a couple players that have input on openers. And he does a great job of having very intentional goals of his openers, whether it's certain looks that he wants to see or seeing how the defense is playing us. And then we always want to distribute the ball, whether it's running the ball and getting into different personnels or spreading it out and trying to get guys touches as much as we can.
Allard did not shy away from throwing to his new targets, that's for sure. 14 of his 22 completions go to Hudson, Pena, and Ross.
Well, it's hard to start a game any better than the offense did, Tom, but certainly, the defense created fumbles, interceptions, 3 turnovers, really changed the field position for Penn State quite a bit. What does that say when a defense starts that fast?
Well, it really gets you excited on defense when you're getting the turnovers, do what you're supposed to do. And there isn't a better feeling in the world than when you get the turnover, put the offense in scoring position, and it gets the whole team really going.
Now, each year the team seems to have that one standout player that wreaks havoc. The most feared defender on PSU this year probably denied Dennis Sutton, number 33, forces both fumbles. What changes for an offense when they have to account for a star player on the other side?
Well, you really got to figure out where he is, and can we block him one-on-one? If you can't, then now all of a sudden we got to use a running back, we got to move the quarterback, we got to do a lot of different things to account for what he can do to us defensively.
Also, those choices get interesting, too, because, he's there. Oh, no, we're going the other way.
Well, there's a group of guys that have to deal with Dennis Sutton more than others. It's the Nittany Lions offensive line, and they say going up against number 33 in practice only makes them better.
I'd say the combination of both his size and speed, because you got to be worried obviously about his bull rush with how big he is, but he's been getting so quick with his inside moves and spins and all that, and so just having to worry about all those things, the offensive tackle definitely makes it hard to block him.
Like a video game person, just watching from the sideline, and then just how he approaches the game. Starts in practice. He approaches every practice like a game, and that's one of his biggest things. And I'm proud of him, and that's why I'm not really, surprised game day, because he does all this in practice and he goes full effort.
Dennis Sutton ends the game with 2.5 tackles for loss, a sack, the 2 forced fumbles, a pass breakup, and a QB hurry. Multiple ways he can impact the game. And all in all, it's also an encouraging day for the special teams. The place-kicking unit especially perfect on all 8 of their attempts. And I think when your kicker sends all 4 field goal attempts through the uprights, you should celebrate it. It's pretty certain at some point in the season, the game's going to come down to a pressure kick situation. But in addition to that, Tom, they get a big hit on a kickoff return along with a long punt return from King Mack. Here's the big hit there. A team can really seize momentum with a big play on special teams.
It's something that I think people miss out on. When that does happen, it gets the whole team fired up when you get that big hit or that big play. It gets everything going.
And no question. And by the way, credit to Nevada's kicker for making this tackle on the kickoff return, because he's going to hear about that, his team. But the special teams clearly changed the game in a number of ways on Saturday.
Well, more on Ryan Barker's big day a little later, along with an important special teams debut later in the show. The short break coming up. When we come back, our coaches do what they do best: scout and analyze after week 1. That means not one, but both teams in this weekend's matchup. Why a self-scout after week 1 is important, and what the coaches found in their deep dive on the blue and white. You're watching Nittany Game Week.
The opening drive is sponsored by R&R Express. Every shipment moved contributes to autism research and inclusion through the Excel Foundation. Learn more at wearerr.com.
These are more than just trucks. Every shipment moved by the R&R Express family of companies contributes to the Excel Foundation for Autism Research and Inclusion, funding safe spaces like the sensory room at Penn State's Beaver Stadium and a special event sensory trailer, and giving thousands that were unheard a voice.
Now is the time to amplify non-speaking voices and drive meaningful change.
These trucks are powered by purpose.
This journey started on these very grounds, in these stands, with this community. West Shore Home was proudly made right here in Pennsylvania. We took a passion, a drive, and built a company that believes in hard work and success, just like this football team. Remember going to your first game? The roar of the crowd? The feeling of being part of something bigger? That's a feeling you never forget.
Bring that same feeling to your home with an extra $750 off in addition to our current offer by visiting westshorehome.com/PSU.
Nittany Game Week is brought to you by West Shore Home, official partner of Penn State Football.
Welcome back to Nittany Game Week. In football, it's often said you can learn the most about your team between weeks 1 and 2. In order to learn about the blue and white, the coaching staff needs to look at both sides of the ball from the previous game. Coach Bradley, Coach Paterno, that is the assignment you tackled, a self-scout on the Nittany Lions, to learn a few things about this year's team, along with a look at the next opponent, Florida International.
Well, you always got to do that. So 46 points, people think, oh, what a great day for the offense. But as a coach, you look at it and say, let me look at this deeper. The run game was not quite what people had expected early on. Let's talk about why that is. The biggest problem was for Singleton and Allen getting started. Singleton was getting hit on average less than half a yard downfield. Allen only 2.6 yards downfield. So it resulted in not a lot of big plays, Tom. And when you're hitting those contact points that fast on a defense, that's good.
It's great, but that also tells you take a lot of chances on the perimeter because you're loading up that box. If you're making that many hits that early, the box is loaded. You got to throw the ball now.
And let's talk about throwing the ball. Penn State got the wideouts involved early and often, as we talked about. But let's talk about where they did it. If you look at the pass distribution chart, the green X's are completions, the red one's incompletions. Not a lot of red on there, that's good. But if you look at where it happened, this being the line of scrimmage, you're not seeing a lot of downfield push with the pass game. That'll have to change, Tom, as we go through the season.
That's going to have to change big time because you want to put pressure on the outside perimeter and make those corners get a little nervous, and safeties. If not, you know where they're going to be? Hanging around the line of scrimmage.
And you take a look, the one time Penn State came off the ball with just a straight streak, they went at Nevada's corner, did not quite get it done. Now, there was some pressure also, which was not expected. of the 32 passes called, there was 10 situations where Aller had to move, someone wasn't open, but he did a great job in those situations. There was 1 sack for -2 yards. He got 30 yards with his feet getting loose, and more importantly, 3 for 4 throwing the ball downfield, 49 yards and a TD. And let's look at that one. This was the biggest play on offense for Penn State. He's looking, no one's open. He then starts to scramble and finds a wide receiver downfield, Tom, and that frustrates the heck out of you on defense, doesn't it?
Do you think so? Yes, it does. You know, you're like you're on the sideline. You're going, we got him. Oh, we didn't get him.
And now it's out there, and there's a guy in the end zone. The corner did not go with Hudson, which is good for Penn State. Now let's talk about. Now we've talked about that. Let's talk about defense. Location. Tom, 3 turnovers, 3 times inside the 20-yard line between turnovers and special teams. Average starting field position was the Nevada 46-yard line. Tom, that's a great number.
That is one. If you can do that a couple times a year, that would be interesting.
Yeah. Now the one criticism would be they've got to finish off those drives with touchdowns, not field goals. Let's talk about Florida International. Now, they've got a quarterback named Jones who is now in his 3rd year as a starter. He's been effective. They want to be a split 50-50 run to pass. They're very aggressive in terms of the run game. They like to pull offensive linemen to create angles and kick people out, especially against teams that are better. Penn State's going to try and penetrate. The quarterback is a threat, which holds the pursuit backside, Tom, doesn't it?
It sure does. You're always worried about the quarterback because he can run that ball. I don't expect to see much of the tight end this week. I think it's going to be spread out all over the place.
Yeah, I think that'll be the key. Now, once you key in on the run game, now they're going to give you the same look here, Tom, where they're faking the run and the guard. And that's tough on these guys, which then allows people to get open when you show a true run blocking scheme, doesn't it?
There's no question about it, especially when this guy can run.
Yep, and here they do exactly that. They get that guard pulling, they get the guy in behind the corner and the outside linebacker who came up, and now you got a big play downfield. Now, defensively, Willie Simmons, everywhere he's been aggressive on the defensive side. They want to create havoc. They want to get pass rush, which is going to leave some one-on-one opportunities outside. So this will be a big week to see how Penn State's wideouts do in a one-on-one situation. Here they're really aggressive. The pressure, they even take a situation where a safety playing from off is going on one with the slot, and they're going to try and hit your quarterback a bunch, Tom. Those one-on-ones, when you get there, if the pass rush doesn't get home, that's a problem.
It's a big problem. I'm glad you pointed that out because that's what they're going to take their chances. They're going to make Penn State throw the ball.
Thank you, coaches. Of course, the season opener for many of the players and some of the coaches is their first game in the blue and white. New defensive coordinator Jim Knowles has said many times Penn State is a dream school for him. He's a pretty stoic guy, not a lot of emotion. That's why this is my favorite video from last Saturday. Coach Franklin, the pregame hype man. He spots Coach Knowles a little extra effort on the hype job, had a few jabs to loosen him up. 2 very different personalities, and I asked Coach Franklin about the pregame bear hug.
He's not like an excitable guy. He's kind of like this. He whispers. Now on the headset when things don't go well, you see a different side of him. On the practice field, you see a different. But besides that, walks down the hallway quiet. That's why I kind of was so animated with him before the game because I was trying to get a little bit of reaction out of him. I think his heartbeat went like, dink.
Moments after the pregame hug, check out Coach Knowles. He can smell victory out there. Gets a sense of where the battle takes place on the field. Safe to say he's excited about his new workplace. And speaking of excited, a Pennsylvania-based company sees their name go up on the iconic venue in Happy Valley. We talked with West Shore Home founder and CEO B.J. Worzen about the debut of West Shore Home Field at Beaver Stadium. We move from our studio to the studios of West Shore Home for our Impact interview when we come back. More Nittany Game Week is on the way.
I'm liking what I'm seeing out here, guys. Speed and precision. This is the type of hustle I'm looking for. That championship level effort. This is where all of our training pays off.
You know, most homeowners just check in on us now and then.
Every West Shore home installer is a highly trained employee that can stand up to scrutiny from anyone.
Let's go do this!
For a fun night out, come to the mountains, the Pocono Mountains.
Yeah, we rock the party non-stop like this. Yeah, we rock the party non-stop like this.
Mountains nightlife. Find yours at PoconoMountains.com.
Impact Interview is sponsored by the Pocono Mountains, where small-town charm meets big adventures. Book your trip today by visiting PoconoMountains.com.
As promised, we have our Impact interview at the West Shore Home Studios in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, with the founder and CEO of West Shore Home, B.J. Wurzen, 1999 Penn State grad. We got to throw that out there right away, and we got to go right to it. What a big weekend and a big day that the company had. Did it meet the expectations? What were the emotions that were generated?
It was an amazing weekend all around. Getting up there on Friday and starting to see some of the signage on the stadium was really surreal for me. And then Saturday was just, you couldn't ask for better weather. We had bluebird skies. We got to go out on the field, and it was just really special.
All right, so a little sneak peek of what you went through, but I want to go back just a minute, because the best business leaders are always in tune to their employees, right? That's the best business leaders. And so the timeline and what you've been hearing, you announced the naming rights deal, the family gift, 15 years, $50 million, and then you're starting to hear things from friends, family, but employees. And you've talked about the pride that they feel, but now it's there, and they start to see the reality of it. What was the timeline like and the excitement building up to it, and then the feedback you got once they saw it?
There was definitely a build-up, a crescendo, if you will, to the season opener. I think the employees feel a lot of pride with being able to associate with an iconic venue like that, with a #2 ranked football team in the country. We had a bunch of employees at the game on Saturday, and trust me, the ticket requests are coming in fast and furious.
I bet they are. Now, they've got some great video of you on the sidelines and that type of deal. Did you have to check your phone with the notifications? Was it just going crazy with pictures, all kinds of different angles, the logo on the field?
All day long.
What were you getting?
Yeah, so obviously I'm at the stadium, so I'm not watching necessarily TV telecast, but a lot of people reaching out saying the logo looks amazing on the field. You're getting a lot of airtime. So it was pretty cool.
To hear a broadcast come on and they say live from West Shore Home Field at Beaver Stadium. There's certain things that conjure emotions for you. Yep. Those are going to be those moments, right? When it's a big event or a big game, the whiteout, whatever's coming down the road. I assume those are going to be the moments that it really sets in.
I just got chills when you just said it right there. So just, to be able to go to Penn State, like you said, a 1999 alumni, graduate, to be able to start a business here in Pennsylvania, have the success that we've had, and be able to give this gift and give back to the university is just really special.
Like, it's not easy to control emotions when something's so important to you, but you're an entrepreneur, you're a leader, you kind of have to do that with business. You can't get too high, you can't get too low when it comes to those things. But for you personally, the weeks leading up to it, as you saw video of the lettering going up, or maybe you're dealing with, okay, this has to be this way. What's the process been like for you personally? I know you talked about family, you talked about the employees, but for you personally, what's that been like?
Yeah, so getting up there this weekend, when I first saw the signage, it brought a tear to my eye. And then Saturday morning, to have all my friends and all my family there, and everyone just coming up to me and giving me a hug and telling me how proud they were, it was just, a really, really cool experience.
College sports is different now, BJ, because you can make a difference in a kid's life in several ways. It used to be an athlete, if they wanted to meet financial needs and they were able and they had the skill to go pro, whether, let's just say it's football, they would have to declare for the NFL draft and then leave college behind. Because of companies like yours, because of the support that you're able to give college athletics, kids can make different decisions. What have you come across in those situations, whether it's a kid or dealing with administration, that it's set in and realized for you that you can make a difference in that way, and how proud are you of that to be able to help?
It's a really great point. I'm glad you brought it up, because some people still have more of a negative connotation around NIL and rev share and things like that. But there are a lot of kids that are forced to make a decision to enter into the draft and go pro probably before they're ready. Maybe they're going to have a 3rd or a 4th or a 5th round draft grade, and then decide, that I almost have to go because of my family situation. But now they can make a decision where maybe they come back to college for one more year. Maybe they can make as much money doing that as if they would enter the draft prematurely, to take care of their family, to elevate their draft status, to maybe have a better outcome than they would have gotten now. So finish their degree, get their degree. There's a lot of really good things that the NIL does bring to the table. And another big thing that I've seen are the players' families being able to attend games. In years past, there just wasn't, the money going around like it is now, and a lot of these parents never got to come see their kids play in person, and now they're all able to do that.
Off the field, you're making a difference. On the field, look, Drew came back, Nick Singleton, Katron Allen, Denai, Dennis Sutton. I mean, these are a lot of guys that are coming back for unfinished business to try and win a national championship. It worked for Michigan, worked for Ohio State. Penn State is hoping that it works for them as well. But there's also wide receiver transfers. We were talking about how exciting it was to kind of see Kyron Hudson and Trevor Pena do their thing. How do you like making an impact on the field product too? Because you can see that, all right, Penn State's able to go get a couple of guys if they need to bolster the roster a little bit. And, those conversations, I guess, what are those conversations like? And for you to see the impact that you can make on the field.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, we are kind of stealing a page out of the playbook from Michigan and Ohio State the past couple of years. Maybe we can keep the ball rolling with these Big Ten champions. But, most of the guys that are out there on the field have been here 3-4 years. They're veterans of the team. They're veterans of the program. They came here as 4- or 5-star athletes. They've been developed. But then we were able to go out in the transfer portal and get those couple of missing pieces. And, the wide receivers that we brought in had a great day on Saturday. And obviously we brought in a new coordinator on the defensive side of the ball. So it's really like the table's set. Everything's lined up. I think that it's going to be a pretty special season.
Appreciate the time with BJ Wurzen. If you'd like to see the entire conversation with founder and CEO of West Shore Home, make sure you go to our website, nittany-game-week.com, for our web-exclusive content. Coming up next on Nittany Game Week, we're going to hear from Tom Bradley and get his scrap medal. He's going special teams for this week's medal.
Nittany Game Week is brought to you by West Shore Home, official partner of Penn State Football.
No,
see you guys later.
He's gonna see us later.
Come on, friends I haven't met yet.
Noah, be careful.
You know Noah? I'll have the tomahawk. And so will he. This next one goes out to Ken and Janice.
Did he just call you Janice?
Kick how hard away.
These are more than just trucks. Every shipment moved by the R&R Express family of companies contributes to the Excel Foundation for Autism Research and Inclusion, funding safe spaces like the sensory room at Penn State's Beaver Stadium and a special event sensory trailer, and giving thousands that were unheard a voice.
Now is the time to amplify non-speaking voices and drive meaningful change.
These trucks are powered by purpose.
Scrap Metal is sponsored by Burke and Bradley Orthopedics. Located in Pittsburgh, Burke and Bradley Orthopedics is a comprehensive sports medicine practice, providing patients with the most current and innovative approaches in diagnosis and treatment.
Time for our scrap medal. Tom's going with a unit that is very important, could be the difference at the end of the season.
Hey, we're going to go with the place kicking unit. Famous saying, 3 field goals beat a touchdown against Nevada. Ryan Barker is a perfect 4 for 4, and they convert all of their extra points, as well as everybody's job in the sequence is equally important. The snap has to be on target. Holder sets the ball. Protection is sound. And then the kicker sends it through the uprights. Good to see everyone execute their duties in the first game of the year.
It's trivia time. Last week's question, Penn State's most common season opening opponents were Lebanon Valley College and Navy. Which 2 Pennsylvania schools were tied for 3rd with 7 openers against Penn State? The answer was Temple and Bucknell, and our winner, Bob Yostpile. Now turning to this week. In 2007, Penn State opened the season with Florida International. Which current Power 4 head coach made his head coaching debut in that game?
Well, no road games in September, so fans are going to be together all month. We're bringing PSU fans and alumni together with our Nittany Connect network at nittany-game-week.com, partnering with businesses that support the show and letting our viewers know about their great products and professional services. We have a lot to share with you. When it comes to college football, it goes well beyond the show. Make sure to check out nittany-game-week.com for web-exclusive content, past episodes, the Nittany Connect, and make sure to consume our weekly podcast. We finished with some Pride pics. You can submit those on our website. Some great shots of Pride pups as well. The dog pictures are usually the best. Make sure to show us your spirit. For Jay and Tom, I'm Todd. Thanks so much for watching Nittany Game Week. We'll see you next time.
This journey started on these very grounds, in these stands, with this community. West Shore Home was proudly made right here in Pennsylvania. We took a passion, a drive, and built a company that believes in hard work and success, just like this football team. Remember going to your first game? The roar of the crowd? The feeling of being part of something bigger? That's a feeling you never forget.
Bring that same feeling to your home with an extra $750 off in addition to our current offer by visiting westshorehome.com/PSU.